Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some really cool battles in the Ultra League featuring XL Shadow Cacturne. These battles were submitted by a member of the community, so many thanks for the battle submission. Cacturne is a Grass and Dark type Pokemon with the moveset of Sucker Punch, Dark Pulse, and Dynamic Punch, and this trainer pairs it up with a Kanto Muck on the lead and Scrafty as the closer. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out XL Shadow Cacturne in action in the Ultra League. Hopping to the first match, leading Kanto Muck into Greedent. Pretty neutral lead overall, so going to immediately safe switch into Shadow Cacturne. Greedent staying in and going for a move just before Cacturne reaches Dynamic Punch. Greedent goes for the crunch, doesn't get the debuff, and then catches onto Umbreon, but Umbreon is not going to appreciate Dynamic Punch, and it's able to do big damage. Cacturne will outpace to the last resort, so Umbreon is forced to go for a foul play. But this is not going to be enough to KO, and Cacturne reaches Dynamic Punch number 2. This will KO or grab that first shield, and Cacturne is able to take out Umbreon. Back in comes Greedent. Greedent will be able to KO with a Body Slam here, but Cacturne not done. Going to commit the shield, and able to reach Dynamic Punch number 3, and this should be getting that shield back. Dynamic Punch does get the shield, and it ends up being a CMP tie. Honestly, this is perfect, as this prevents Greedent from farming down, and now you can very safely align Scrafty onto the Greedent, and in the back, the opponent has Politoed. So things are honestly looking quite good at the moment, able to win alignment, and here, Scrafty is going to be able to do some nice damage with the foul play, or grab the final shield. Politoed does let it through, and now back in comes Kanto Muck. Kanto Muck does have access to Thunder Punch, and at this health range, Politoed honestly does have to respect it. Able to get a shield, Politoed farmed up a bunch, this could be an Earthquake, calling that it's not, and it's just a Weather Ball. Very nice read. Able to reach Thunder Punch number 2. This is going to be taking care of the Politoed, and now all that's left is the Greedent in the back. And Greedent is just not going to be able to output enough damage to get the win here, as Kanto Muck is able to tank the Body Slam no problem, and fire back with the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse easily going to be enough to take out the Greedent, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Kanto Muck into Talonflame. This is a pretty decent lead for Muck, thanks again to Thunder Punch. It is going to be able to outpace the Talonflame as well. Throwing just before Talonflame is able to reach a charge move. Thunder Punch is able to connect, and Talonflame fires back with a move. Tough call to make, last second shield, and it is the Brave Bird, very nice shield. Opponent safe switches into Swampert, and going to respond with Shadow Cacturne. So long as they don't have Sludge Wave, Cacturne should tank whatever they throw. They go for the Earthquake, that does massive damage, but Cacturne able to hang on. As you can see, Cacturne able to output a lot of damage, but it is extremely glassy. Cacturne able to Sucker Punch down, but unfortunately this is perfect Incinerate farm down range for Talonflame. Back in comes Talonflame and they farm down. This is going to be a race. Can Muck outpace Talonflame? It cannot, as Muck does lose CMP on the Brave Bird. Going to commit the shield. The move did trigger, and unfortunately, even with no bubbles, this is still going to be enough to KO. Talonflame gets taken out, and in the back, it's the perfect Pokemon for Scrafty to see. It is Walrein. Even though Scrafty is down 2 shields to 0, all Scrafty has to do in this situation is just continue to ramp up these counters with power-up punches. Even though Walrein does have 2 shields, the shields are not really going to save it from these boosted counters. Able to tank the move, no problem. The opponent does go Earthquake. In neutral situations, Icicle Spear is more efficient, and from here, this Icicle Spear is not going to be enough to KO. Scrafty able to counter down, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, picking up a very rough lead, Kanto Muck into Melmetal, going to immediately safe switch into Shadow Cacturne. Melmetal banks a move and then brings in Charizard. This Dark Pulse will do big damage if they let it through. Moment of truth, they do, and Cacturne almost able to one-shot a Charizard. This Dragon Claw will be enough to KO, but the nice thing is, able to bait out the Flyers, so that way, hopefully 2 shield Scrafty in the endgame will be able to close out the match. Back in comes Melmetal. They did have that banked Rock Slide, and they're going for it now. Thankfully, Muck is very tanky, so they are able to absorb that damage no problem. And now Muck is going to fire back with the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse is able to connect, and now brings in Scrafty. Scrafty able to get an energy lead with the Charizard out of the way. Hopefully Scrafty will have a lot of play in the end game, but it is not going to be able to, as there is a Togekiss lurking in the back. Unfortunately, not able to bait out the Togekiss since there were 2 flyers. And now, Scrafty just gets charmed down. Things are not looking good whatsoever for the Muck, especially not when the game lags. Come on, game. Muck is able to get through some poison jabs. Togekiss is able to catch back up, and Togekiss is going for a move. Ancient Power, not enough to KO. Muck is able to farm down, and this is going to be very, very close. Muck needs to be able to reach 3 Thunder Punches before the Melmetal is able to reach 2 Rock Slides. Muck is able to get the Poison Jab through. This is going to be very, very close. Muck not at the 2 Thunder Punches it needs yet. Able to get very close to the back-to-back here, but so is the Melmetal. Thunder Punch gets the shield. Can they get there? They cannot. Melmetal reaches a move that is going to be taking care of the Muck, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Kanto Muck into Galvantula. Pretty neutral lead, opponent is going to immediately save switch into Excadrill and going to be met with the Shadow Cacturne. Scrafty definitely the better response in this situation, but let's see how Cacturne can do. Exca also went for a Drill Run versus a Grass type. You definitely do want to go for Rock Slide in this situation. Even though you don't get same type attack bonus, it does do more damage overall. Will commit the shield on the CMP tie. Exca is going straight Drill Run in this matchup, so they may just be unfamiliar with Cacturne's typing. Cacturne is going to commit the shield and maybe look to try and Sucker Punch down. This is going to be very close. It barely cannot, and going to catch the Drill Run onto Scrafty. Thankfully, Scrafty will tank this very well and going to be able to farm down. Do we see that Galvantula? Yes, we do. Back in comes Galv. Scrafty not going to be able to reach the foul play as Galv reaches a move. Should be able to tank a lunge here. It is a lunge, and Scrafty is going to be able to fire back with the foul play. Even debuffed, this will do some pretty nice damage, and Galv does commit the shield. This Galvantula farms down, but Shadow Cacturne has a move, and this will be absolutely banishing that Galvantula. What is in the back? It's a Alolan Muck, and Cacturne is not done. Going for a Dynamic Punch. This is going to hit for big neutral damage, brings back in the Kanto Muck, and now it's the Battle of Mucks. Kanto versus Alola, who is going to be victorious, able to land a Thunder Punch, and the Alolan Muck is going to hit back with the Dark Pulse. Actually, just kidding, they go for the Gunk Shot for some reason, able to farm down, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Kanto Muck into another Talonflame. We have seen this lead play out before, and it's a pretty decent one for the Muck. Muck is going to be going straight for the Thunder Punch right before they're able to reach a charge move, able to get a shield, and Talonflame is firing back with a move. Always a tough call, shields up, but unfortunately shields up a Flame Charge. Talonflame is still going to be 3 away from a Brave Bird after throwing that, going to be going for the Thunder Punch, able to land it, and this is only a Flame Charge. Muck should be able to tank this, and then maybe try and commit to the farm down here. It's going to be very close. They're able to farm down and leave with a move. That is very nice, and it's an Umbreon in the back, and Scrafty absolutely devours Umbreon. Able to farm down, and now, oh my goodness, they're actually bringing in the Shadow Cacturne, saying, you know what, I'm not taking the easy way out. I want to see what Cacturne can do, and this appears to be a Psychic Umbreon, so this Umbreon is absolutely miserable going up against another Dark type. Foul play, connects, and now Cacturne gets to have its revenge, firing back with the Dynamic Punch. Big damage onto the Umbreon, brings in the Scrafty, and the opponent concedes the match. Hopping into the next match, putting Kanto Muck into Sceptile, major spice alert. Opponent is going to save switch into Blaziken, so this has me thinking that they could be running a triple starter team, and if so, mad props, because that is a very, very cool theme team. Blaziken does hit very hard, so Kanto Muck is going to respect a potential Blast Burn, but it is only a Blaze Kick, and then going to fire back with Thunder Punch. Does Blaziken decide to commit the second shield? This is very early on in the match. They do not, and they get farmed down. That is absolutely perfect. In the back, it is a triple starter team as they have Swampert back there. Cacturne, unfortunately, just does get outpaced. Should be able to tank whatever they throw. And the Swampert goes for Hydro Cannon and then catches the Dark Pulse back onto Sceptile. But this is going to do massive damage when it connects. Cacturne going for the farm down, not quite able to get there, but I believe this should only be a Leaf Blade. It is. They tank the Leaf Blade and Cacturne able to farm down. This Swampert is still very healthy, but with 3 Pokemon left alive at this point, it's just a matter of time. Swampert is going to be able to take out with the Hydro Cannon, but a very nice catch, able to preserve the Cacturne and catch onto the Muck. Muck trying to get to a Dark Pulse, but Swampert says no. Swampert going for the Hydro Cannon, not willing to let that happen. Back in comes the Cacturne. Cacturne gets outpaced as well. Swampert doing all it can to try and stave off the inevitable defeat, but Scrafty is here to shut that all down, as Scrafty will tank whatever Swampert throws in this situation. Scrafty can very safely counter down, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, setting Kanto Muck into Samurott. Opponent save switches into a Giratina, and Giratina is immediately hard punished by Shadow Cacturne. Shadow Cacturne doing big damage with the sucker punches. Giratina, not sure what to do, goes for a Shadow Sneak, but Cacturne going for the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse taking down the Giratina, and in comes Shadow Machamp. But at this point, Kanto Muck can just close out this match. There is a little bit of lag there. The opponent ends up force closing the app, and that is a good game. Hopping to the next match, leading Kanto Muck into Walrein. Pretty decent lead, but unfortunately desyncs at the start. Muck farming up a ton of energy and able to make a very nice catch of a potential Earthquake onto Scrafty. Unfortunately, Walrein was baiting, and then they're going to respond with Cresselia. This is not a great matchup if you're the Scrafty. Scrafty is able to hit for super effective with Foul Play, but Foul Play just does not do nearly enough damage compared to Moonblast. Scrafty does have to shield or they will be taken out, and they're actually going to commit a shield. That's a bit of a risky play because there's no guarantee that Cresselia will give that shield back, because Cresselia does tank a Foul Play here. There is some lag, and Foul Play does land, and unfortunately you can't really commit the final shield here, so they're going to have to let the Moonblast take them out. Was able to get them pretty low, but now this sets up Shadow Cacturne for the farm down. Shadow Cacturne now has an energy lead. Back in comes Walrein and going straight for the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch is going to do a nice chunk of damage onto Walrein, and Walrein is going to fire off an Icicle Spear. Muck does not have to respect this whatsoever. And the final Pokemon is going to be a Swampert, and that is absolutely heartbreaking, as unfortunately, this looks like this is going to be a very tough match to win. Swampert is just resisting these poison jabs. They do basically nothing, and Swampert is going to be able to overfarm quite a bit in this matchup, and now is honestly going to be able to threaten this Cacturne. Cacturne is going to let it through, but a Hydro Cannon does over half. Shadow Cacturne is incredibly glassy. They do have to commit that final shield, but things are not necessarily looking good. Cacturne goes for the farm down and is not able to get it. Swampert is going to be able to take out the Shadow Cacturne, and that is a good game. Hopping to the final match, leading Kanto Muck into Granbull, a fantastic lead, and even better, it is Charm. They save switch into Swampert, and Swampert is going to be met with the Shadow Cacturne. Cacturne does tank an Earthquake here, but it almost KOs, and at this point, knowing that they have a Charmer in the lead, it's probably worth the shield just to make sure that you can guarantee switch advantage. Cacturne going for the Dark Pulse and able to get the shield. This should just be a Hydro Cannon, which Cacturne should be able to tank fairly easily. It's going to be a race. Can Cacturne get there? Yes, they can! And now, will Swampert give up that final shield to try and flip switch? They do not, and Swampert gets taken out. Granbull able to charm down. In comes Muck, and they're able to catch a move onto Cresselia. Very nice catch by the opponent, and now going to be bringing in the Scrafty. Scrafty does not have a good matchup here whatsoever, but at this point, you have to get any kind of use out of the Scrafty that you can, and Scrafty is going to be able to reach at the very least one Foul Play. Cress does need 2 moves to KO. They decided to go for the Grass Knot first, and then they will be able to go for the Moonblast, which is going to be enough to KO. At this point, honestly, I would just let the Scrafty go. They do decide to commit the shield, and they get hit with another Grass Knot. Honestly, Muck could have closed out the game at this point, and shielding is a little risky, and you see why, because Granbull is able to come in. In comes Muck. Muck should be able to tank this and farm down. The opponent goes for the close combat, hoping to try and minimize farm. Muck able to farm down. They don't leave with a move, but they are able to get there. This Dark Pulse is going to be more than enough, taking out the Cresselia, and that is a good game. All in all, some very fun battles in the Open Ultra League featuring XL Shadow Cacturne. Shadow Cacturne is incredibly glassy, but if it can land a charge move, oh my goodness, does it output a lot of damage. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.